today we have brought the media here to educate them on the biosafety law. The reason why we did that was that we have realized that there's a lot of confusion in the society now, talking about the differences between the biosafety law, which allows the scientists to develop biotechnological products as well as the GMOs, or including the GMOs, and the new law which has just come out, which is the Plant Variety Protection Law. That one protects whoever is developing the crop. If there is a royalty, then it will be paid to either the institute or the person, depending on the arrangement of the breeder or the developer. So we brought them here to educate them, because we as scientists cannot go directly and speak to the public. We decided that we'll bring them on board, and then as we educate them, they will go out there and then educate the public. The how soon has always been the question, because it is a process, and it tells you how careful we want to be. We don't want to jump the gun, so we are going through the process step by step to ensure that we follow all the procedure, all the processes, so that the law will be strictly adhered to. And then once the product is out, we'll give it. It is better for us to take our time and bring the product out than to rush and bring the product out and later on have problems like it has happened in some other countries. If you do that, what happens that people will say that the product is not good, it's not this, but it's just because maybe the scientist did not do what was expected, did not get to where he should get to before he released. If you have a child, you can give birth at 7 months, you can give birth at 9. But if you give birth at 7 months, people will they call the children what? Premature. Okay, and who wants to give birth to a premature child? Nobody. We are doing a lot of training and awareness creation in almost all the districts. We have gone to several districts I may not be able to mention, but for the COVID, before 2019, we've gone to a lot of regions, and we are telling them that this technology is in the pipeline, but the technology is not here. So they will ask you, where is the technology? Because, farmers are always curious. They want to get the technology, plant and see what will happen there. But it's not there. And we cannot fake and then go and give them anything because they are rationals. No, we are not doing that. We are taking our time to educate them, create the awareness, and let them wait. Once it's ready, we will give it to them. I am not a developer. I try to do advocacy and then also communicate with the media. For now, I don't know if I can speak for all scientists, but for now, for what I know, nobody is venturing into animal development or some other crop. For now, we want to finish with these two products, and then once we put it in the system and people are okay with it, we'll go back. The GM technology, it's not that we want to convert all our products into GM crops or GM animals. Essentially, what we do is that we look at the crop, or let me say the animal, and then when we look at it, and it is of economic value to us, but there is a disease, there's a pest, there's some kind of thing that destroys or limits its yield or limits its taste or whatever, then we would now begin to consider it, and then you look for money. And these days it's not easy to come by money. So you have to really sit down, do your cost-benefit analysis very well. And then once you think that is good, you can now apply to NBA. Then the NBA will go through the processes with you, and then if you qualify, they will give you the green light, and then you start development. No one has spoken to me that he or she wants to go into GM animal yet. But in the literature we read that salmon is being done somewhere, not in Ghana.
It's another week and another episode for Food Chain. Today we are talking about genetically modified organisms and the body responsible for taking care of that, and the transaction and the movement, the transit and everything regarding GMOs is the National Biosafety Authority. And today I have its chief executive with me, Mr. Eric Amening Okorie, and he will be explaining to us everything we need to know about GMOs. Welcome, Mr. Amening.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So please tell us, since the inception of the authority, how far your activities have come?
Yeah, so the authority was established legally in 2011, but implemented effectively in 2015. And as soon as it was established legally, in 2012, the then Biosafety Committee gave 2 approvals for research on genetically modified organisms. They were the newest rice and the BT cowpea. And the permits were given to the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. So that has been the activities on the ground. And the research is going on, as I've said, and the Biosafety Authority has been monitoring and inspecting it to make sure that they remain within the biosafety confines that we give them. So basically that's what we've been doing, and we've also been conducting training. We now have staff, we've been training them, we've been training staff of regulatory agencies that we work with. And we've also been meeting press and conducting some public education.
What are the needs, or what are the requirements for someone applying to import, someone who is selling on the market, someone who is exporting, and there may be transit? So tell us about it.
So we look at, the law gives the power to the authority to look at 5 main applications. There is what we call the contained use, when a scientist is working on it in the lab, confined to the lab. And then confined for trials, when after the working in the lab, the scientist comes into the environment. And in some specific place in the environment, he works at that site, and that is confined. And then we have environmental release. After the confined for trial, it gets into the farmer's hands, and the farmers would want to release it and plant it. Then we have placing on the market. Such applications are basically the food type, and food, looking at human beings, and feed, looking at animals. To place them on the market, there's a special application for that. And then transit, as you said. In all these cases, we have special forms for them. So the process is that the public must know that there is this National Biosafety Authority in place. The forms for the various applications are available. If anybody wants to put it into the environment, you come and you take the form for environmental release. You apply it as such, it is considered as such. Placing on the market, you take the form, you give us the information, and then we look at it as such. And so there are also measures in looking at all this, so that by the time it's going to wherever it's intended to, we make sure that it is safe for that type of introduction.
So how long does these processes take? Or how do they take?
Yes, basically the law says that decisions should be made in 180 days. So it depends on the type of application. Research may take 3 months, 4 months. Environmental release, we can't tell because we are yet to work on those things. Placing on the market, we can't tell because we are yet to work on those things. But basically, it shouldn't go beyond 180 days. That is 6 months.
Okay. So the first set of GMOs were supposed to be released in 2019. Were they released?
Yes, they are not released yet. Yeah, 2019, the permit for research on them were given in 2012. And they are being under research. I know they are at the point of release. So the CSIR has to come to the Biosafety Authority, pick the form for the release, submit it, and then we take it through risk assessment. But most importantly, public assessment, consultation. The public must make input. So when we get such information, we put it in the public domain. We advertise it, we gazette it, we advertise for the public to come for copies and make input. So in deciding, the board would look at the application, the information in the application, the public input, socioeconomic consideration. So, and then risk assessment. So it's a process. They are not out yet.
But then it's been 3 years. Isn't that long enough for a time to complete this process?
As a biosafety authority, we will not look at it that way because it's as and when an applicant comes in.
Okay.
So if the applicant comes, yes, we will look at it. Until they come, we are waiting.
So we don't have any genetically modified organisms on the market yet?
As far as we know, no. Officially, no.
Is it as a result of education? Like, do we need to educate the public more?
Yes, you are right. You see, the use of GMOs are many. Somebody may want to bring some kind of, let's say, soybean, maize, to process them into animal feed. GMO maize, GMO soybean into animal feed. And the person has to get a permit because we have to make sure that whatever he's bringing in is safe, you know. And the public do not know the existence of the NBA, and that's what we are trying to bring out, so that the public will know that there's this authority here. They are the authority we have to meet, approach, and apply to, and get a permit to bring it in. So we are trying to create that visibility. I think when that is well done, they will know exactly where to go to for the permit.
Okay, so could the fact be that there are groups against GMOs? That is why there's also a bit of delay?
Yes, that could be. Yes, you are right, because before these structures were put in place, or while they were being put in place, there is our friend on the other side. Let me put it on record that in biosafety, we don't speak for. Even though we are the regulators, so we don't speak for. We don't speak against. We are friends to those who speak against. We listen to them. We are friends to those who speak for. We listen to them. And then we put it together and make a decision. But you will bear me out that a lot of information has gone out there, a lot. Whether they are scientifically they sound or not, we are yet to tell. But basically, most of the information we hear are not scientifically sound. But that is what has entered into the minds of the people, and some kind of fear has been created in the minds of the people. And so something that all stakeholders involved should work on, And I will also say that any message that anybody who claims to understand the system releases out there should be scientifically sound. If GMOs are bad, they can cause cancer, and the science is there, the proof is there, we will listen. But if it is based on propaganda, to hang it without any basis, that one we will not take. So that is the situation we find ourselves. A lot of information has gone out there, and they are not scientifically sound, most of them.
I find this ironic because GMOs are supposed to bring food sovereignty, right?
Yes.
But then I saw on the internet, or I found out that there's a group called Food Sovereignty Ghana that is against GMOs. What is your take on that?
Yeah, yes. You see, all over the world, wherever there is scientific innovation and introduction of that technology, the public rise against it. And you will get somebody whose business is to lead the confrontation. And in Ghana, we find food sovereignty doing that. We appreciate that because all these, go to make the system, the regulatory system, effective. So we, the Biosafety Authority, appreciates their existence. Just that we will say that whatever information they put out there should be scientifically sound. and should not play on the emotions and create fear in people. So long as they are scientifically sound, we will listen to them with all our attention.
But is there a way you handle these groups that are against, the introduction of GMOs?
Yes, there is a way.
Okay. So share with us.
Yes, the first thing is that we need to appreciate their existence and acknowledge the things that they say out there. The next is that we need to make them our friends because they will contribute something. And so that is how we look at it. Food sovereignty is in court with the National Biosafety Authority. That's not a crime. They have the right to be in court. And the lawyers are talking and the judge will give the decision. That's part of the democracy. So we appreciate it in that sense. And as I said, just that the food sovereignty must speak science and not emotion. That is it.
I see. So you mentioned that you are taking into consideration what their concerns are, right? So how do you plan on incorporating that in your outcomes?
Yes, and that's very good. See, the biosafety law is so fair to the public. The law is very, very fair. It says that whenever the Biosafety Authority receives an application intending to release GMOs into the environment, the authority should inform the public that we have received such an application, and that opens the door for all parties, including food sovereignty, to come and pick a copy of the application, go and study it, and identify whatever will give the cause for any harm, and let us know. You see, so when we receive an application, a group like Food Sovereignty and other organizations which are against the release of GMOs have the right under law to come to our office, contact us, or even if they don't come, we will send it to them to look at it and identify any cause of harm in that introduction, let the board of the authority know, so that in their consideration of approval or otherwise, that will be considered and included.
Okay. It's quite unfortunate you've said that we don't have any GMOs on the market.
Yes.
I bought these
Okay.
hoping that if they were GMOs, you could identify it.
Yes.
And help me or
Yes.
the public know that this is a GMO crop or this is not a GMO crop. So is there a way you can,
Yes. Thank you for bringing them. This is very, so this soybean, right?
Yeah.
And this is cowpea.
Yes.
Right. Now, with your naked eye, there is no way you can see a GMO crop.
Okay.
There's no way unless you take it to the lab.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so it may look nice, but with your eyes, you cannot make the difference. Now, the GMOs that we are researching on in this country, cowpea is the number one.
Okay.
And the cowpea we have in Ghana is what has received the gene. So it's not foreign. Our own cowpea, which looks like this, is that type of cowpea farmers have been planting in Ghana. So when it's lying down, you will not see it.
Oh, okay.
I think this may be it, but that cowpea is in the hands of the scientists under lock and key. So if you bought this from the market, it is not a GMO.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
Now, but we can still take it to the lab and test and see if the gene is there. That is the only way. This is soybean. Looking at it, you cannot tell until we take it to the lab and do the assessment, the analysis, and check whether there is a foreign gene in it. There's this belief that we have to correct. The ordinary public do not understand the difference between a hybrid and GMO. Hybrids are improved varieties. They may look nicer than the original, which our forefathers were, but they are not GMOs. They are improved varieties. And the public don't understand that improved varieties are not GMOs. Yeah. And you are holding this mango.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the usual mango we have, you know. I think it's exotic.
Yeah.
It's exotic, and it's different from the normal mangoes we have. This is an improved variety. It's not a genetically modified organism. It's not a genetically modified mango. It's a hybrid though. It's improved. For it to be sweeter, for it to be bigger, for it to give more food. And scientists, cultivated it and researched on it and improved upon it, planted it for several years until we got to this stage. They are not genetically modified. They are improved hybrids.
Okay, so with the improved hybrids, so they taste better?
It depends on what the scientists want. You can see this is different from our usual mangoes.
Yes.
So I can see that the scientist was looking for more of the flesh for food.
Okay.
More juice, more fiber, you know. And I believe it to be sweeter. So he combined crossbreeding and crossing mangoes. It was within mangoes. And finally, they arrived at this. After several years, maybe it took them 25 years to get to this. And if it was genetically modified organisms, we would have been looking at maybe receiving the sweetness from sugarcane. Sugarcane is not mango.
Yeah.
So if the scientists pick the gene that gives the sweetness to sugarcane and puts it to mango, for the mango to be as sweet as a sugarcane, then the mango has become genetically modified. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
So then we look at it that way. Then it comes to the NBA.
Okay.
Yes. But if the scientist uses mangoes, different types of mangoes from different locations, and maybe there's a mango very sweet in Malaysia. There's another mango very big in Brazil. And there's another mango in Ghana which is very resistant to the diseases in Ghana. So you bring the mango from Malaysia, you bring the mango from Brazil, and the big one from Brazil, the sweet one from Malaysia, and you cross them.
Yeah.
After several years of process, you can come up with something like this. That is a hybrid. It's not a GMO.
Okay.
But if the scientists using genetic engineering pick the gene, for example, let me say from garlic,
Okay.
so that the garlic odor is incorporated into the mango. So when you eat the mango, you can smell the odor of garlic for medicinal purposes. Then getting the gene from garlic into the mango, you have genetically modified it. So it becomes a GMO.
Oh.
So that's the difference.
But I doubt anybody would want to smell garlic in mango.
Somebody may want it sweet thing, but getting garlic as well.
Wow.
It's an example, you know. It's an
Okay.
example.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know we are not in the lab, but then if you could take us through the process, maybe a summary of how things are being tested in the labs.
Yeah. Yes. So in the lab, when you get the organism, you prepare it for sequencing. It will be very difficult to explain this. You prepare it for sequencing and then you profile it.
Okay.
So in profiling, you're able to identify the gene that is responsible for the trait that you are looking for. And I talk about it, it's a character that you want. So the scientists are able to get it, and then they pick that gene and put it anywhere they want to put it. So in a summary, that's how it is.
What are some of the benefits we are looking at? I know that if you have a GMO or crops that are genetically modified, are much resistant to diseases.
Yes.
Yes. What are some other benefits that we could?
Yes, that's a very good question. Let me answer it this way. I wouldn't want to answer the question of benefits of GMO as a regulator.
Okay.
Because I'll be compromising my neutral stand. The NBA, that's not our message. When we do that, straight away to a critic, we have compromised and we have promoted GMO. So I will veer from mentioning the benefits. But what I will say is that now Ghana has a law in place to regulate GMOs. An authority has been established to regulate GMOs. And our aim is to ensure safety of health and environment. And when that is done, all the benefits that we have in GMOs will be realized.
So you work with the research institutes?
No, we don't work with research institutes. Rather, research institutes are our clients. So they are the developers. And we are the regulators. So we form an authority. We are on our own. And we work on our own under the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology.
Okay.
We are not researchers at all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okorie, for your time and educating us on genetically modified organisms. So that's it for Food Chain. My name is Emma Davis. Today we talked about genetically modified organisms, and in Ghana we don't have some yet, but we may have some hybrid crops, that have been put together or engineered over some years, but we still don't have GMOs yet. So I believe GMOs will be good for the environment, but then Mr. Okorie doesn't want to, corrupt his stand as a regulator. So yeah, that's how we end today's episode of Food Chain. Thank you for staying with us.